Hello guys, welcome back to my channel UK News. We hope you are doing great. Well, in this video we will talk about Starmer tells Putin he started Ukraine war and can end it any time. Keir Starmer has directly addressed Vladimir Putin's recent threats regarding the Ukraine conflict, asserting that Russia is responsible for starting the war and has the power to end it. Starmer's comments came after Putin warned that any use of British-made Storm Shadow missiles to strike targets within Russian territory could lead to a broader conflict with NATO. So here's the situation. Starmer, who is the UK Prime Minister, made these statements while traveling to Washington, D.C. for a meeting with US President Joe Biden. His trip is aimed at justifying a Western decision made behind closed doors that permits Ukraine to use Storm Shadow missiles, which are partially British-made, to target sites inside Russia. Now, this is significant. Putin had earlier warned that any move by the West to allow Ukraine to use these longer-range missiles would mean NATO is effectively at war with Russia. This warning is part of a dramatic escalation in his rhetoric since Russia's invasion of Ukraine began in February 2022. When asked about Putin's threats, Starmer responded firmly. He said, "Russia started this conflict. Russia illegally invaded Ukraine. Russia can end this conflict straight away. Ukraine has the right to self-defense." He added that the UK has been providing training and weapons to help Ukraine defend itself against Russian aggression. Starmer was en route to meet Biden, partly to discuss the nature of this support and its strategic implications. It's worth noting that The Guardian had recently reported that the US and the UK, together with other allies, had decided to let Ukraine strike military targets inside Russia using Storm Shadow missiles. These missiles have a range of at least 190 miles, which Ukraine has long sought. Putin's response was quite severe. He stated that any Western move to allow such missile strikes would fundamentally change the nature of the conflict. In his view, it would mean that NATO countries, including the US and European nations, are at war with Russia. He also mentioned that Russia would make appropriate decisions based on the threats posed by this new situation. So Starmer's visit to Washington, D.C. is critical. He is scheduled for a special foreign policy summit with President Biden, where they will discuss various pressing issues, including Ukraine and the Middle East. While Starmer has not directly commented on the Storm Shadow missiles, he indicated the importance of ensuring that all decisions are strategically sound. He emphasized that significant developments are anticipated in the coming weeks and months, which will likely require tactical adjustments. Meanwhile, David Lammy, the UK Foreign Secretary, took a more assertive stance. He suggested that Britain and the US should provide Ukraine with the necessary weapons to defeat Russia. He highlighted that this period is crucial as it will set the stage for whether Russia gains an advantage over the winter. Lammy also noted that Russia appears to be escalating its actions, possibly in coordination with Iran, which has reportedly sent ballistic missiles to Russia. These missiles are expected to be used against Ukraine, further complicating the situation and leading to potential loss of life. Ukraine has been pushing for the use of Storm Shadow and US-made ATACMS missiles for months. They have argued that while Russia has been able to repeatedly target Ukrainian sites, Ukraine has been restricted from hitting military targets within Russia. This imbalance has been a significant point of contention. Despite these pressures, President Biden had been hesitant to authorize such strikes out of fear of escalating the conflict further. However, recent developments, including the reported delivery of fast 360 short-range ballistic missiles from Iran to Russia, have shifted the calculus. The US and UK have made it clear to Ukraine and its president Volodymyr Zelensky that any use of Storm Shadow missiles must be part of a well-coordinated strategy to compel Russia to end the conflict, which is now approaching its third winter. Interestingly, there is no planned press conference involving Biden and Starmer. Any official announcement regarding the use of Storm Shadow missiles inside Russia will likely come only if an actual attack occurs, given the potential for such an event to be highly visible and impactful. Starmer's trip to the US is intended to focus on strategic discussions about Ukraine, Gaza, and other foreign policy issues. He emphasized that the purpose of his visit was not to impose a peace agreement on Ukraine, which he believes is a matter for President Zelensky to lead. Instead, Starmer highlighted the importance of key allies discussing and aligning their foreign policy strategies. During his visit, Starmer will first have a one-on-one meeting with President Biden, who is set to leave office in January. Following this, there will be a broader meeting involving David Lammy, UK Foreign Secretary, Karen Pierce, the UK Ambassador to the US, and Tim Barrow, the National Security Advisor. Notably, Starmer will not be meeting with Kamala Harris, the Vice President Democratic nominee, as she will be occupied with campaign activities ahead of the November election. So yeah, the situation is evolving rapidly, and there are a lot of moving parts. The strategic discussions between Starmer and Biden will likely play a crucial role in shaping the next steps in this ongoing conflict. And as always, staying tuned for further developments will be important, as the impact of these decisions could be significant for the broader geopolitical landscape.
Thanks for watching our video. Please hit the like button and subscribe the channel.